I now, at 50, value their leadership? Should we evaluate the values of our leadership at home, work, and the world? Matt Reeves, DRTM Divine Leadership or Fairyland? DRTM Divine Leadership or Fairyland? Matt Reeves.
Hi, my name's Matt. I'm an addict. Basically, I'm addicted to 3 physical elements. They are all very time dependent. They all correlate to the number 6 also in their timing. So what do we have? We have 6 minutes of air. We have 6 days of water and 6 weeks of food. I hope you'll remember that. It is a little bit scary that these numbers are approximately correct for everybody in this room. The second addiction I have is the addiction of approval. When you're 5 years old and you want to get the approval of your parents, we all go through that phase. We're always seeking that approval. That approval grows into a concept of respect. When you're 15, you're looking for respect. You go and try and perform well at sports. Swimming, for example. When you get to 35, 45, you end up going through what I call a change phase, midlife crisis, where you're not so psychologically dependent on what people think and you want to start doing your own thing. So we've talked about the physical needs, the psychological needs. Basically, I think the club has leaders in it that are expressing values, and that's why I'd like to describe why I'm talking about these needs. The speech I was to give told me to get organized. To me, in the perspective of life, when someone tells you to get organized, they're actually telling you to set your goals. So I asked myself, what are our leaders' goals? And so I kind of backtracked down to values, needs become values, values become goals, and management, to me, when you consider its values, when you add direction to that concept, you'll get leadership. So I'd like to just read a quick quote out of Stephen Covey's book. Management is the bottom line. How can I best accomplish certain things? Leadership deals with the top line. What are the things I want to accomplish? In the words of Peter Drucker and Warren Bennis, management is doing things right. Leadership is doing the right things. Management is efficiency in the climbing the ladder of success, and leadership determines whether the ladder is leaning against the right wall. That hit me real hard. Basically, he goes on to describe the scenario of a jungle situation where you have guys going through the jungle and they're using their machetes and they're cutting, and those are the producers. Those are the workers. And the guys standing behind them, that are working out the schedules and making sure they're getting enough rest and their tools are sharpened. Those are the managers. And then you've got one guy that climbs up the highest tree, evaluates the whole situation and says, it's the wrong jungle. That was written 30 years ago. To me in Toastmasters, I see at least 3 wise men. If I was to go to war, I want these guys behind me. The first, I would recognize him with the statement of no man is an island. A few months ago, there was a speech given where a man talked about it being a single bachelor. And I identified with some of his statements so much, even though I've been married 28 years last week, that I had a connection with that concept. To me, he was showing his courage in facing his situation. I would call him a wise man, just for the influence and values that he's given me. And he's the big reason why I'm in this club. So, I wouldn't mention his name, but I would give him, I want him behind me. The second individual, I would use the term know thyself. Most of his speeches have to do with that concept, and that's why I was talking about divinity, things like that. The second, his speeches are about know thyself. I think his last speech had to do with the fog, like a fog concept and happiness, where if you focused on the fog, you would be a lot happier, meaning he gave an acronym that I was trying to create an acronym on that concept. Fog being forgiveness, optimism, and gratefulness. And that individual, I probably shouldn't also mention, but Bon Forte. So the third individual would be where I feel like he adds so many values, but in his recent advice has been kind of strange. I would call it more a Tinkerbellism. Just to make sure we're talking about. I asked Mary the Fairy how I could get to Carnegie Hall. She said, practice, practice, practice. And he smiled and vanished. And she smiled and vanished with a puff of smoke. Now I must challenge myself that my leaders are getting their values from the correct place. And so now I'm challenging this individual to make sure he's getting, I really appreciate all his values. So I'm just being a little bit sarcastic there. In conclusion, we should evaluate our values as leaders and verify the direction of our goals.